Spoilers. And we're live. Okay, so who am I talking to today?
You're talking to Verena or Icy. Either one works.
All right. And how long you been playing the game for, Izzy?
I've been playing since 2020. Back in what was it? August of 2020, I think it was.
Okay. Okay. So you started with Shadowbringers then.
Yeah, I started around Shadowbringers a few months before Endwalker released.
Okay. And what class do you enjoy playing in the game?
My favorite class, the class I main would probably be Reaper.
Hmm.
It just feels really smooth and I just like big scythe.
So since you joined in Shadowbringers and Reaper wasn't around, what did you used to play?
I used to main Astrologian or Astrologian, however you want to say it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you made the switch from healer to DPS class.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like the aesthetic of the Astrologian before Reaper came out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. It is definitely the fanciest looking healer class, and I think
Isn't it
that's
also the most difficult one or something?
Uh, yeah, I feel like it probably is. Just the multitasking of having to pass out the cards and stuff in the middle of combat, and then try to line
Yeah.
up the buffs with that, with your divination, and then also keep the healing up and the DPS up. Which DPS on Astro is not impressive, but
DPS would DPS. I just know heal.
yeah, yeah. Although, have you kept up with the changes coming in Dawn Trail or no?
I normally don't look at those too often. I
Okay,
normally just I'll go into a server and see if they're talking about anything like that, and that's normally where I get all my information with like upgrades and reworks and stuff.
gotcha. So I haven't paid super close attention this time around, but Astro is getting a rework a little bit. The card system, you're not going to be pulling a single card at a time. I saw in the like preview trailer that they pull three cards at once, and then I
Ooh,
guess you get to distribute them how you see fit. And
that's actually
then
really good.
yeah, yeah, it should be nice once you sort of get used to it. And then I think they're also doing some sort of like three hit combo AoE skill or something. I'm less clear about that, but
That one sounds weird as fuck.
well, Astro needs something more for damage because it's as my main healing class when I do play healer, which isn't that often. Um, damage on Astro feels bad right now.
Yeah, I I can't really blame you there.
Yeah.
What I wish they would bring back is the nocturnal and diurnal sect. That was actually the main thing that I
Yes.
liked about Astro.
Yeah, I loved playing Astro in Shadowbringers for that reason. The fact that you got to choose, that you had the skill that made both of them happen, which we still have that skill, but it's much
It's
more
a
like emergency now.
Yeah, it's a two in one skill now.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked being able to choose between being a shield healer or a regen healer. I get they did it
Yeah.
for balance now because we have two shields and two regens, but I just like choice. Anytime they take choice away
Do
from
we
me, I
only
feel
have
bad.
four? I thought we had like five healers for some reason.
No, we've got White Mage, Scholar, Sage, and then Astro. And then that's it, unless you count Blue Mage, which.
Nah, I speaking of Blue Mage, I can't wait for the for Beast Tamer or whatever it was called.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be nice. I like these little gimmicky jobs that are kind of goofy and you don't have to take them as seriously as everything else. Although I would love to be able to run them in current content, but I understand why we can't.
Yeah, you can only do that when it's of pre can you can still run Blue Mage and current content just unsynced, right?
Well, no, because the level cap's always 10 levels lower than what the max is.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could technically do it if you had like a dungeon like at the starting level for the new expansion maybe. Um, but you would have to have a pre-made party, which doesn't happen that often, especially if
Yeah.
you're bringing a blue mage. Which I get it. Blue mages are kind of broken. Freeze them and use ultra vibrate and then wipe out an entire mob of monsters at once. But
I was questioning how people were doing that. I didn't know it was a actual skill.
It is. They're doing a three hit combo. They have like Hydro Pull, I think it's called, that pulls in every enemy at once. Then they freeze them with the Chimera skill that I forget the name of, like Ram's voice or something. And then they use Ultra Vibrate, which just immediately KOs any enemy that's frozen or petrified. But then it
Yeah,
has a
that
big
just sounds
cooldown.
broken.
It is broken. It is. These fate
I'm ac-
events were not designed with that in mind.
I'm actually curious on how much damage that would do to a Endwalker boss, like a Extreme Trials boss.
So the Ultra Vibrate doesn't really do any damage. That's the thing. It either one hit KOs something, or if they're immune to that, then it does nothing. I think.
So it wouldn't even do anything in
Right,
trial.
right. There's like status resistances. So there's one fate in Corthus, if you've ever seen it, the big Cyclops fate.
I think I've seen it once.
Okay, because that thing was a bitch when it was still fairly new and before Blue Mage was a thing. But Blue Mage gets this skill now called Missile that you can learn, and Missile takes off half of their current health if it hits. So this was meant to be like a boss that would take like 10 or 12 people to fight because he
So
had so much health.
yeah,
But
so like a good chunk of people in one instance it would take.
yeah, yeah. So, but with Missile now, like you can solo the Cyclops if you just cast Missile enough and keep yourself healed up. So it's a
Yeah,
little
that sounds
broken.
about right.
Yeah.
Blue Mage on top.
Yeah. Yeah, Blue Mage is a gimmick, but it's a good gimmick. It's good at what it does. If you know how to use it, which I
I'm
don't.
just Yeah, I'm just curious on how well Beast Tamer will keep up with Blue Mage.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do with that. I don't want it to be like Blue Mage number two, where it's just like, oh, these monsters have these skills that you have to have like a collection of monsters, because then it's just Blue Mage again. But I don't know. I want it to be like a Pokemon type thing. Like send your monster out, tell it to do like one of four attacks, then send another monster out.
Imagine being able to like pull out three different monsters, one being a tank, one being DPS, one being a healer,
Just have your own
and you
party.
yeah, like quite literally have your own party.
I would enjoy that. Maybe they should bring out like a beast tamer or beast master, whatever it's called, like Coliseum thing where you can just have beast battles against other people.
It would be hilarious.
That'd be great. Yeah, I know I'd like that a lot.
They've already had a collab with Among Us. I feel like when Beast Tamer comes out, they might have a collab with Pokemon.
Oh, you mean Fall Guys, not Among
Yeah,
Us.
Fall Guys. Yeah, sorry.
There's been
I get
nobody
those two.
murdered in an event yet. Although,
I don't know why I get those two confused.
well, they were meme games that came out close to the same time of each other, or at least they got real big around the same time. So I don't blame you there.
Yeah,
And
that's fair enough.
they kind of have a similar design if you think about it, just little like bean-shaped bodies, and then
Dude, Fall Guys is way more popular for some reason because it's had Destiny collabs, it's had Final Fantasy collabs,
yeah,
it's had collabs with Persona, I think it was, and a bunch of other like games and movies.
I feel like they might just have more money. Like I think that might be what it is,
That
but
probably.
I wouldn't swear to it. Although, like, I don't understand how it's still getting stuff because I don't know anybody that still goes back and plays Fall Guys now.
There's still it. I played it once, like
Yeah,
recently, or at least watched someone play it, and there's still a good chunk of people that consistently play that game.
that's so weird to me because I played it for like 2 or 3 months when it was fairly new. They gave it away for free on PlayStation Network, I think it was, and I played it there, and now I've got it on Epic Game Store, and I don't think I've ever launched it on Epic Game Store, like ever.
I That's the same with me, but for Among Us, I played it once and then I never touched it again.
I played maybe like 10 hours of Among Us, and then I let it sit for over a year, and then when I went to go back to it, they had changed a bunch of stuff. There's roles now that you can have as like a crewmate, and they all
Oh
have
my!
special skills.
I thought that was I thought that I thought that was a mod.
No, no, it's just the default game now. And I looked at all of them and I'm like, I have no idea how to play this now. And then I just shut the game
So,
down.
have you
Like,
ever played if I'm correct, you mean like the jester role and like the and like janitor and a bunch of other different roles,
I don't
right?
remember what the roles were called, but they all had special
Okay.
skills, yeah.
Yeah, so I think what they're going with that is have you ever played Town of Salem?
No, but I've seen it played, and it did remind me a lot of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But since I never played Town of Salem, it would have been me learning something brand new, like all over again, and I just was not in the mood that day. And so I shut it down, and I've never opened it again.
Learning regular Town of Salem would just be so much more better, to be honest, anyways.
Yeah, it
Because it's trying to be Town of Salem without the whole Town of Salem vibe, which is like you go into your house at night and you leave in the morning to vote people and execute them.
yeah.
While with this one, it's similar to that, but you're roaming around instead of staying in one place.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't feel like they needed to add the roles in Among Us, to be honest. I thought that the game was fine as it was. Um,
Yeah,
it
I
was a little goofy, but it was nice. It was fun.
yeah, I think they were just doing it for like a change of pace because of how
Yeah.
boring it got real fast.
Well, you can. I learned at least that you can make a room without the specialized roles, so you can just play regular Among Us. But um, I think I tried that once when I found that out, and the first thing I got was someone joining, being like, "Hey, enable roles," and I'm like, "No," and then they left. So
Children, right?
yeah, yeah. So it had a problem back even when I played it, where people would like group up and like be on Discord or something, and then you'd murder one of the people in Discord, and then suddenly everybody would know like who the murderer was, and they just ruin the fun for like everybody.
Yeah,
So
that's been a major issue for I think ever since it first came out though.
yeah, yeah, which sucks. I mean, it's one of those games that's fun if you have like a full group of friends, or at least enough to make the game fun. But
Yeah,
without that, you're kind of at the whims of randoms, and you can't trust them. So uh,
it is what it is, sadly.
yeah, yeah. So going back around to this game that we're actually in,
Yes.
since we talked about Among Us and Fall Guys for like 10 minutes now, probably.
Yep.
Uh, what sort of stuff do you like to do in this game?
I normally either take pictures of the game or
Yeah,
I go and do extreme trials and either mount farm for in extreme trials or help teach people set extreme trials like Abyssal Fracture, Storm's Crown, Mount Ordeals, all of that shit.
yeah, yeah. Which you have one of those coming up soon. It's probably going to already have happened by the time I get this uploaded, but
Yeah, I'm
uh,
just
s-
hoping more people apply for it soon.
I don't. It's well, I might have this uploaded by the time that comes around. It's happening on the first, right? If I remember.
Yeah, June 1st.
Okay. At I think it was going to be like 8 p.m. my time.
Your CST as well,
I
right?
am, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be 8 p.m.
Hey, I remembered. All right. Didn't even cheat. All right. So if this is out before the first of next month of June, and you want to participate, and you've seen this video, just make sure to join in the Raid Events channel. Uh,
Yeah.
so speaking of taking G poses, we're here in this area because you said this was your favorite spot that you like to take a lot of G pose pictures in. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Why?
also just like chilling here in general.
Yeah. Why do you like this spot so much?
Well, one, ice aesthetic. I am a very icy person. I love anything ice themed.
Hmm.
And overall, it's just a very great scenery, as you can see in the background.
Yeah, no, I do like the mountains that are in the background there.
It's
That's
especially nice it's especially good looking at night specifically.
man. So, I mean, I don't know. It could just be my my shaders or something, but it's It's very nice looking even in daylight. It's got this nice blue tint to the background and everything, and the little fog effect that's kind of down ground level. That's
Yeah,
all
it's
nice.
all just really nice and
Yeah,
relaxing looking.
yeah, yeah. So you are big into the ice theme, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always see you in blue clothes, and you have sort of a would say fascination with Shiva.
I've totally haven't ran that 300 times in one session before, just for
Uh,
shits and giggles.
so you must have really liked Heaven's Ward then, huh?
Yeah, I actually did. Yeah.
Hmm.
It
Well,
wasn't like it wasn't too difficult per se, like the
mm,
trials and everything about it.
yeah.
I don't know exactly what I liked about it. I just think the bosses were interesting to fight.
I think that they were interesting. Some of them were pretty fun. The Thornton trial was fun as a spectacle, even though it wasn't hard. And then the Nidhogg fight at the very end was just a spectacle on its own, which was also, decently challenging for somebody that was new at the time. Now it's nothing, but it was.
I think the I
Hmm.
think the only fight that I had the most difficult on, I don't remember what the name of the boss was, but it was a big fat rock guy that goes up in the air and slams and pushes you back if you're not at the very edge of the arena.
Big fat rock guy. You're not talking about Titan from A Realm Reborn, right?
I don't, maybe it
Because
was that.
he
Maybe I'm
doesn't
just
knock you
stupid.
back from a slam. Although he does knock you back with his fist. He has like line AOE's, and sometimes they split out into like three.
I think it was Titan. My
Okay,
bad.
okay. So Titan is a bit of a tricky situation because your experience with him can also depend a lot on when you first fought him. Because I did it back in A Realm Reborn when like A Realm Reborn was the newest content, and
Yeah.
the server lag was very real back then, and you'd be way out of the AOE, and then you would still get hit by it. And back then, if you got knocked off the platform, you wouldn't respawn on the platform. You'd just be out for the whole fight. So
Yeah, that does not sound fun at all.
it wasn't because your camera stayed down on the ground level down there in the pit.
You couldn't even see anything.
Right. So you're just sitting there staring at your dead body while they fight the boss up there, and then you're left wondering like, is it done yet? Is it gonna be done? And you don't learn anything because you can't see.
Yeah, that sounds about right, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. So at least nowadays you spawn back on the platform if you fall off. Although, to be
Don't
fair,
you
the
all
hmm?
can't you also get res now?
Yeah, you can get res now because it put you back on the platform. That's why you couldn't get res before because they couldn't reach you. Like that's a deep
Yeah.
pit.
Yeah, that sounds about right, to be honest.
I was embarrassed because the first time that I did it, I had just unlocked elusive jump from my dragoon, and I
Oh
was
no,
gonna be
you jumped
fancy.
off.
Yeah, I was gonna be fancy, and I was gonna avoid the line AOE by elusive jumping because I'm like, they had to give me this for a reason, right? And so I did it, and then I jumped off. Every dragoon has to do it at least once. So
Yeah, I've done that as Reaper too many times.
yeah, yeah, they give us these fancy dash skills to go backwards, and it turns out aiming backwards in the middle of a fight is not always easy. So,
Speaking of dashes and stuff, I had this one. I was learning Barbaretia, Storm's Crown,
hmm,
for the first time,
hmm.
and you know those like little partner blue circles if you ever done Barbie?
I haven't done the EX, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, so I was really far away from the person that was supposed to be there with me,
Hmm.
otherwise it would have insta-killed me. And I Reaper dashed at the last second, and I kid you not, I got jumped in the air, like I got pushed up into the air, but then I instantly fell down because the part I dashed into my partner at like the at 0.1 milliseconds left.
The dash mechanics are a little weird sometimes, so I kind of have a feel for how they work now. So I use them a lot to negate like knockbacks and things. on Samurai, since that's the class that I play most often now, I've got the forward dash that can do that. And
Yeah.
so like something will hit me with a knockback and like a quarter of the way through the animation, I'll just hit the dash real fast and then it's like I never got knocked back at all.
Yeah, the dashes are super useful at times, but
Yeah.
with small arenas, they can cuck you up, or they can cuck you real bad.
Yeah, so I don't use the backwards dash on Samurai hardly ever. For for
The
that reason because I fuck it up more often than not.
Yeah, I normally use my forward dash for Reaper, and then I use my backwards dash if I need a portal backwards, obviously, because
Now,
they're connected.
right, yeah, yeah. Now for since you brought up doing Barbarisha and stuff, what do you think is your achievement that you're most proud of doing in the game?
I think it would have to be day oneing, or not day oneing, sorry, week oneing Abyssal Fracture when it first came out.
Okay.
I cleared it. I cleared it fully blind in the first week, back when like within the third day there were already like guides on how to clear Abyssal Fracture and all that.
Hmm.
I ended up doing it blindly with a bunch of other FC members.
Yeah.
I think it was Chinua, you, me, I think Saren, Bunny, and a few other people, I think. And it took us about 3 days, 4 days to clear it, but we got it in the end.
Well, it wasn't. I can tell you this much. It wasn't me,
It wa-
because I have
I
none.
forget who I forget exactly who it was. I know Chinua and Bunny were the two guaranteed to be there.
I wanted to do it. Like I remember you getting people to volunteer for that, and I
Yeah,
wanted to do
I
it, and it just didn't work out time wise for me.
yeah, I had a lot of people wanting to do it, which was surprising to me, to be honest.
No, I mean it looks like it'd be a cool fight. I still want to do it sometime, but I just
I'd be I'd
so
be down
busy.
to teach you and any other people that need to be taught.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be willing to do it sometime. I just I've been real busy for like the past month or month and a half now with these interviews. So
Yeah,
I haven't
I've
been
noticed.
yeah, I haven't been doing a lot in my free time. Between that and the full-time job, like my time is just gone right now.
I will say this, if you want to mountain farm that,
Hmm.
good fucking luck. It took me 300
God
runs
no.
for the mount to drop once.
No. So I'm not I have never and I probably will never mount farm current content because the drop rates are so abysmally low.
Yeah,
Uh
so I'm actually very thankful. I have like 300 plus totems now of Abyssal Fracture that I've
hmm.
just been using to grab the the materials, the special material you can get as a drop. Uh, but on the 300th run, I got the mount to drop once,
Hmm.
and I rolled a 99 on it.
Was that the one where you basically had enough totems to get them out and you told
I had enough
everybody?
totems to get
Yeah.
three mounts.
Yeah, and then you got the mount to drop and then you're like, "Oh shit." And
Oh no,
then-
that was Hades, I think it
oh,
was.
okay.
It was Hades or Endsinger where I had enough to get the
Hmm.
mount, and I was like, I had enough to buy the mount, and then I was like, hey, I'm gonna just roll for it for shits and giggles because I've rolled like 20 and under
Yeah.
every roll for like 30 plus mounts. And I rolled a 99 on that one as well on the very last mount, and I felt so fucking shitty. I couldn't pass on it because I was the last one to roll.
No, yeah. So I told this story in one of the other interviews, and I didn't mention your name, but now if someone's watched that interview and now watched this one, they know it was you.
Yeah, I still feel shitty about that to this day, to be honest. I literally promised them to run it for like another 15 runs, and they're like, nah, I'm done, Chief.
Uh,
Fuck that.
that's pretty funny though. I'm not
It's
gonna
a great,
lie.
yeah, it's a great story to nowadays, but holy
Uh,
shit, did I feel so embarrassed.
yeah, no, that would feel bad, especially since you didn't even have a chance to undo your mistake because you were the last
Yeah.
one. Oh man, I would have bailed. I would have even volunteered at that point. I would have been like,
Yeah,
"Oh man, I gotta go. Bye."
yeah, I should have done that to be honest. It's a
Uh,
great story now, though, at least.
no, yeah, it's a funny story. It stuck with me. That's why I told it in one of the other ones. Uh,
uh,
Back to since you started in like Shadowbringers, it was kind of like in the hype period for the game when like everybody seemed to join this game and like was really interested. We had all these streamers and stuff. They were WoW streamers streaming it at the same time and all this stuff.
yeah, like Asmongold and a few other people, if I
Yeah,
recall.
yeah. Asmongold was one of them, and everything that he brought with him. But what was your favorite expansion?
My favorite expansion,
Hmm.
like as of right now or as of Shadowbring, back when I first started.
No, as of now, since you're caught up and everything, you experienced them all. So
I personally, I would have to say it's Endwalker, and it's not for like the story or anything. I don't
mhm.
normally pay attention to the story too much because
How dare
I
you?
I have very bad memory when it comes to that.
How dare?
I've just had out of all of the extreme trials and stuff I've done, the Endwalker extreme trials have been my favorite by far so far.
Okay. I mean, that's a valid reason. I People have different things they come to this game for, and extreme trials and savage raids and stuff like that. They're just as valid of a reason as everything else. So
Yep,
I have not done any. Well, I no, I have done a couple of the really early extreme trials from Endwalker. I've done
I'm pretty sure
um,
I brought you to End. I brought you and a few other FC members through Endsinger once.
we we have done Insinger and we've done Zodiark and Heidelin, and then that's where I've stopped. That's the newest one was Insinger. I haven't done anything past that,
Yeah,
which at first was a little difficult just with the one like head part. If anybody that's out there watching this knows what I'm talking about, then you get it. But it's not too bad, honestly. None of them were too bad, uh,
yeah.
especially now.
They I think out of those three specifically, the most trouble I had was in Heidelin because
Hmm.
I didn't understand the fight for like the first five clears.
Yeah,
And the only part of the fight I didn't really understand was the part after you break the crystals, the one with the giant waves of light that come at
yeah,
you in like different directions. I kept dying to that because I didn't understand how that worked at all.
I gotcha. That kind of stuff is weird because it's either like you completely understand it or you don't understand any of it, and there's not really any in between. Um,
Yeah.
for me, I think honestly the hardest one was the Zodiark fight, and it's not the Zodiark is a really difficult fight, but he moves the platform, and I have such a hard time visualizing in my head where stuff is going to be after that platform rotates. My brain just doesn't work
Yeah.
like that. So,
Now, I got lucky when I queued into that one,
yeah.
and I just followed people that looked like they knew what they were doing, and I kind of cleared it with ease. And that's what I've been doing for most of my first clears on everything.
I'm not ashamed to admit that's what I had to do for the Zodiark one because we had Poid with us, and Poid does everything, and so he had cleared that already. So when Poid went to a location for the rotation part, I just followed him.
And that, yep,
I stood exactly
having
where he was standing.
yeah, having someone that knows what they're doing is like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, I don't think that I've ever talked about Poid in any of the interviews. So just real quick for anybody that's like out there listening and doesn't know Poid, because he doesn't get on all the time. Poid is the guy that he does all the ultimate raids. He does solo deep dungeons and does them so much he's on the leaderboards, like near the top or at the top for different
Is he
classes.
actually?
Yes, he is. He
I'm
does
looking
so
that up
many.
right now.
Yeah, he does so many solo Palace of the Dead things and like Heaven on High and even Eureka Orthos, the newest one. Um, so if you
What's his
ever,
uh what's his in-game name?
it's Poid Kunderthunt.
Hundred.
I am a huge fan of his name. Yeah.
That's an amazing name. What the fuck?
Yeah. So if you filter by our server, or by Crystal, I forget how they filter it on the
It's
leaderboards.
by the data centers
Okay,
themselves,
so
so
if you filtered by
Crystal.
Crystal, yeah, last time I checked, which was a couple of months ago,
He's
he
done
was
it on all
still.
classes, right?
I don't know if he's done it on all classes, but he's done it on several classes. And the ones he's done them on, he is either at the top or near the top, usually within the top 10.
Which ones are those specifically, if you know?
I know Palace of the Dead was one that he's done a ton of.
What
I
what
think Paladin would be one to check.
paladin? Okay,
Yeah.
that's the first one.
Mhm. Um,
Uh,
I don't remember the other ones that he's done them on.
he's not in the top 25 as of right now for paladin.
Is he not? Okay, that
No,
might have
unless
been
I'm
Heaven on High that I was looking at. I'll uh
yeah.
I'll take a break here and actually take a look here. Let's see, deep dungeon.
Yeah, he's number 1 for heaven on high.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So you found him on that one at
He's
least.
uh he's uh he's about 100K above second place.
Okay. Yeah, he does it so often. He does just score runs where he just goes and tries to get the high score. Like it's insane to me to think about. Uh
Yeah, he seems absurd. I could never do a
uh,
solo deep dungeon.
okay, so go to the Palace of the Dead rankings and go to Gunbreaker. I had him backwards. So he's number 1 for Gunbreaker on Palace of the Dead. Like
If I can find Gunbreaker.
yeah, yeah, no, it's the fourth one from the left.
I keep when you said Gunbreaker, I thought you meant Machinist for a second.
No, no, Machinist has a gun, but uh, Gunbreaker has a gun blade. It's very different. Very different. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I give him props for doing this so like
hmm.
casually.
Yeah, and I think he's done more of Heaven on High than of Palace of the Dead as far as ranking goes. But he just that's his thing. He goes in there, he does all sorts of deep dungeon shit, and he's very good at it. I I don't have that kind of patience. I tried. I got to
I
like
can't even I can't even get past wave 130 with a full party on Palace.
so I've gotten all the way to like 180, a floor 180 solo with Machinist. And that's the furthest that I got. And that takes like 6 hours. That's like 6 hours of your time that you're dedicating. And so when you wipe at
Yeah,
that point, it's like, oh my God, I don't want to do this for another 6 hours.
I think back when I brought Bunny and Robin through Palace of the Dead, I
Hmm.
think for because it was Robin's first time, so I was surprised on how high we got. We
Yeah.
got to like floor 125 or 26, something like that, before we wiped.
Hmm.
And for having someone that was a first timer and didn't really know what they were doing and having like literally no tank, it was a machinist, a reaper, and a white mage. So
Okay.
getting to that high was actually absurd in my eyes.
It's deep dungeons are weird like that. So there is a whole like deep dungeon running community out there that, they put out guides, they put out like videos, they put out there's one called Angelus Demonis or something like that that does a whole bunch of solo Palace of the Dead videos and stuff. And there's even someone out there that challenges themselves to do them on like the basic classes, like the unupgraded ones, like Conjurer.
Yeah, I remember seeing seeing an interview for that person, I think.
So the last I heard about their run, they got all the way, they beat floor 200. But the catch with Palace of the Dead is you have to, after you beat the last floor, there's a long running period to like get out on the last floor. And he timed out.
Oh
He
no.
got to the end game area where it's like, congratulations, you won. There's no more enemies, but you have to run down this big slope and then exit. And was literally like 2 steps away from the exit and timed out. That would have pissed me off so
No.
much.
That's
Um,
so bad. What the fuck?
so to kind of go back to my own experience with it, like the only time I've cleared Palace of the Dead all 200 floors, we had 3 people. It was me, Shun, and Tamiko. And there was one tank, one DPS, and then one healer. And since I hadn't seen past floor 180, I didn't know what was coming. And those last 20 floors are a bitch. Like everything, every mob was almost killing the tank, basically. So I don't understand how I'm supposed to do it
with the
solo, but
with with the it was almost killing the tank with the little thing you can proc, the like what was it, plus 20%
we
damage
were.
reduction or
I'm pretty
something.
sure they weren't using that because we were trying to conserve pomanders. When you get that high, you don't spend a lot of time opening chests because the threat that they could be a mimic and just absolutely destroy you is very high.
Yeah.
And mimics, like their auto attacks start doing like, thousands upon thousands of damage. So
Yeah, I'd imagine those hurt like hell, especially when the cap for Palace of the Dead is, what was it, 60 or something?
yeah, yeah, it's 60. So it was rough, and I'm glad we did it. I'm happy that we did it. When you do it, you get to like turn in an item to get like an outdoor furnishing, and I've got that sitting in my like house yard.
You get
But
an item for clearing all floors.
yeah, you get an item for clearing all the floors, and then you can trade that item in for different things. And I chose the outdoor furnishing. You can even get like multiple ones, and then you get a different color outdoor furnishing, so you can have two different ones. Um, but you have to obviously clear it multiple times, which it's kind of hard to get a group together to do because it's not often you find people that have 8 hours to
Just
spare.
solo it. Just solo it like everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. So it turns out that's actually pretty hard. Um,
Yeah, I do imagine it is.
I would get frustrated because even on the times when like I have time, if like you have to be careful because if the server like is being DDoSed at the time or something like that, and you get disconnected and you're solo, your run's over. Like there
Wait,
is no
really?
reconnecting. Yeah, if you disconnect in the dungeon, and
That's considered you dying?
yeah, that's considered you dying. So
What the fuck?
it's to keep people from like almost getting killed by a mob or something, and then just unplugging their Ethernet
Oh
cable or
yeah,
something.
save, like save scumming.
Yeah, yeah. So, but then again, if it's not your fault, if your ISP goes down or your power just flashes for a second from a storm, or like your DDoS or like the server's DDoS and you just lose connection, all that counts against you. So you could be 6 hours in on the run and then just disconnect, and that whole thing's gone. Uh,
That's why I don't do hard content solo like that.
I don't mind. Like, I wouldn't mind if it was shorter. That's why I feel like if you really want to do it and just sort of like dip your toes in the experience, do Heaven on High, because Heaven on High is only 100 floors. So
Either way, if that ever happened to me, I would have literally uninstalled this game.
I was so the very first time I ever tried to do a solo Palace of the Dead run, I got to floor like 142 or something like that, and I was just having a. It was like super early in the morning. I was just having a chat with Ryami, who was online at the time, and I wasn't paying attention. I was starting to like lose focus, and I stepped on one of the invisible traps that turned me into a frog.
No.
Yeah,
Mid
yep,
bowl?
yeah. I had just hit an enemy. Yeah, and I'm
No.
like, oh no. And the auto attacks were enough that status lasts for so long, and I died. I sit there so deflated. I'm like, well, I'm going to bed now. It was like 7 a.m.
And that's another reason why I can't do those like solo those. You could go ask Bunny or even Robin if they remember. Uh I think during our runs for Palace of the Dead, I was the one that set off, what was it, 30 to 40 plus traps in the span of like half an hour.
It's weird. So there are like kind of, well, at least Poyd has told me. I believe him because I know he's done his research. There's different like layouts for the floors as to like where all the traps can be. So if you have enough practice, even without like a safety pomander or whatever, like you can still avoid traps if you really know what you're doing. Otherwise, the best bet is to like hug the walls. But even then, that's not totally safe.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have a bad habit, and I know I have a bad habit of I don't even bother hugging the walls because I just figure like, you know what? There's an equal chance I'm going to step on something regardless. I'm just going to run through, and then it works sometimes, and then other times it does not. So,
Other times it's just like, uh-oh.
oh, luring trap. Oh, exploding trap. Oh, you're a frog now.
Dude, the frog one's the scariest one.
The frog one is bad, yeah. The luring trap I can deal with if you have a pomander, if it's low enough, like floor level. The other one that really gets me is the one that hits you with pacification and silence. That
Oh
one's
god,
also not great.
that one's rancid as well.
It's not as bad if you are on a caster and you bring like the right item because there is an item that removes silence. It's a potion and nobody ever buys it because you never need it outside of these. But there is no item that removes the pacification. So
Yeah, because you can't use Asuna.
right, you can't use Asuna, and um,
Does
the
Asuna even work on the pacification?
it does, yeah, it does.
Okay.
So if you've got a healer with you, if it's more than just solo, then yeah, that's fine. But otherwise, like you can remove it yourself if you're a caster if you have an echo drop, I think it's called. Um,
Why can't you do that if you're not a caster?
because the one so silence keeps you from casting spells. That's a separate status effect. It hits you with two status effects. There's silence and pacification. Silence stops you from casting spells. You can negate that by taking the echo drop, and then as a spellcaster, you're fine. But pacification keeps you from using the weapon skills, and there's no item in the game that removes that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you can unsilence yourself, but as like a machinist, you don't cast spells, so it does nothing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
doesn't
that's
seem fun.
no. That's why one of the best classes to take in Palace of the Dead for solo is Red Mage. You can heal
You get
yourself.
DPS and you can heal
Yeah,
yourself.
you can heal yourself. You have dual cast. You can remove the silence status if you step on the wrong trap. I can't do that. I'm not good enough at Red Mage to succeed at level 60, but that's what they recommend. Um, but yeah, going back off of the tangent that we went on for the deep dungeons, because I can talk about that for a long time. Uh,
Yep.
so you mentioned Bunny earlier. You came from a different FC with Bunny and Nyx and the one that left,
Yeah,
whose name I just forgot.
Percy.
Percy, thank you.
Yeah.
It was on tip of my tongue, and then when I thought reached for it, it was gone again.
Yep.
uh, but yeah, you all came together, so you knew each other beforehand.
Yeah, we knew each other for about a year or two before we swapped over here.
Mm,
And the only reason we really swapped is because we were looking for a more active FC
yeah.
because our other one adequate. Uh they just ended up stop playing the game entirely.
Mm,
Like it was mainly for the fact that there was nothing to do for them because it was towards the end of Endwalker. And they ended up swapping over to World of Warcraft
you.
and being the typical World of Warcraft people and being
Yeah.
hella toxic.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it is about that game. I guess it's just the environment that it creates, but so many people that play that have like such a bad personality about it and just other
Yeah,
things in general. That was one of the kind of challenges when this game really took off in Shadowbringers with all the WoW streamers and stuff was that they brought that audience with them. So it was a great time for recruiting and stuff like that. Like we had more active people around that time than ever, but I had to stay on top of things. Hmm.
there were so many people that got kicked, I'd imagine.
Uh, I haven't had to do that super often, to be honest, but there were a few that I had to. There was one person that joined before you were ever part of it that they came from WoW, and their name was like Winter Wolves or something like that. I'm gonna name drop, and they joined, and then within like a day, they threatened, and they were totally serious. They threatened to kill Saren's cats.
I remember you talking about this
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, they were just like totally unhinged. They weren't even joking. It wasn't even like a bad joke. They were absolutely serious. They hated cats so much they threatened to kill the cats. I was
I'm
like,
like
all
my
right,
first impression.
yeah. I'm like,
That,
okay, yeah, you're not gonna be here anymore. Bye. And yeah,
that, that, I mean, that's worse than my first impression, at least.
yeah. So I was gonna
That's
say
just
something about
rude.
that.
Tentacle hentai.
Yeah, so I'm always as the FC leader, I'm always watching for like signs that people are going to be like a problem. And so you all joined at once basically like really close in like time-wise to each other. And I'm like, okay,
We
they
all
know each
joined in
other.
the same, yeah, we all joined at the same day, just different times, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, which is cool. Like I was happy to see a bunch of people suddenly join, but it also like as new people, I have to keep an eye out because, it could be
Yeah.
another Winter Wolf situation. Like, is this an unhinged person? Like I have to. So I was reading FC chat and I don't remember how it even turned to this. I think you're talking about some sort of dungeon boss where you fight one of the like giant
Yeah,
octopuses or
it
something,
was. Yeah.
and you bring up tentacle hentai, and it's like a red flag went off. I'm like, huh.
Yeah, I
Oh, it
was
was like
trying
day
to
number one or two.
yeah, I was trying to describe one of the bosses, and I couldn't think of the name of the boss, so I was just like big tentacle hentai guy or whatever.
I like how that's where your mind went. Uh, so yeah, that not gonna lie, that put you on the radar for a little bit, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to watch Icy, ain't I? And
And I'm still here.
yeah, and you're still here. It worked out. But yeah, that was a hell of a first impression. I hadn't really talked to you before, and uh,
Yeah,
although we had met before, and I just didn't
yeah,
realize it.
yeah. I remember that the fucking yin and yang picture.
There's
The
actually
yin
two
and
pictures like that. I found one, and I don't remember where it is now. That
God damn it.
I took like 3 months prior to that in PvP. That so we don't anymore, but we had the same hairstyle. Like I used to wear the Rainmaker hairstyle, and we just had like totally opposite colors. And then that picture that I shared had us in like complete opposite poses, and just it was like uncanny. And that was like 3 months before you joined.
Yeah.
I just took it and shared it in Discord. I'm like, hey, look who I ran into. It's my evil twin.
You know what's ironic? I think around that same time, if not a few months before that picture happened, I was actually trying to figure out how to join the Discord for your FC because I favorited your I favorited your FC thing on the lodestone or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm looking for a new FC to join anyways. I'm gonna join this one because their thing is literally Team No Sleep and I'm an insomniac.
Right.
That works perfectly. And then I just forgot about it entirely, and then I got back to it, and I was like, "How the fuck do I join their Discord?"
Yeah.
And then I read through your the chat, the people talking there,
Mm.
and there was something about I think it was either Shun or you that said that I need to go to a specific area to get the Discord link to be able to join the FC or something like
Yeah,
that.
so it's basically like for anybody that hasn't seen it, I set up where the Discord link is like at the top of the community finder page. And I specifically say like don't try to message me on community finder because community finder does not tell me when there is a message there. Unless I
Yeah,
think to check it every day, which I don't. I used to, but now I'm too distracted by things. So people would leave messages there and I wouldn't see them for like 2 weeks, and by the time I get to them it'd be like too late.
yeah,
Plus then
I think I left a message in there. I was like, "Hi, I would like to join," and then I
yeah,
never heard from anything, so I
right.
completely forgot about it.
Right. Well, even if you had, it wouldn't have notified you. You'd have to think to go and check because there is no
Yeah,
notification. So it was making a problem where like I try to catch the comments, and then if I caught somebody, I'd have to trust that they saw me message them back, and then I'd have to like constantly look for them online to invite them to the FC.
which is just like too much
It's
work.
absolutely stupid. They should have like some sort of direct integration on that page where you can just like hit join FC and then it sends like an application to like
I
the
was
game.
I was gonna say either that or have it to where like where most websites have it to where like it'll ask you for a it'll ask you if you want to turn on notifications or whatever.
Something,
And
yeah.
Yeah, just something so so you hear that
Right.
that you got replied.
Right. So my solution to that was I'm putting the Discord link, a permanent link at the top of the page. I'm telling you, like, don't message me here. Go to this link, join the Discord, post in the join request room. And I have it set up now where if you don't have any permissions, the only room you see is the rules room and the join request room. And like that's it.
Yeah, I
So,
remember that.
so like they post there, and then if they've done that, I know they can at least read and follow instructions. So at that point, I give them like permissions to see the rest of Discord, and then I worry about finding them in game and inviting them. The join request room is the only one I have Discord notifications turned on for. So if I hear a beep going off in my headset or like on my phone or something, and no one's
You
private
know,
messaged me, I know
yeah,
what
you know
happened.
exactly.
Yeah. So that's worked out a lot better. um,
Yeah, that seems like a much more smooth thing to have.
it also serves as sort of like a litmus test because if people can't follow the instructions, then I've saved myself a lot of headache because they I don't have to explain things like 50 times because they can't join in the first place.
Yeah,
Uh, so yeah, that's why I don't have it set up to be automated by a bot or anything because people are used to that. Choose your role for the server and then all that stuff. I could do that, but
it also helps keep away actual scam bots that try
yeah,
and send you fucking
yeah.
link. I kid you not, by the way, when I say this, and
Hmm.
I don't mean I'm probably not gonna say it since you're recording and all, so I'll tell
Okay.
you after because it might get you well demonetized.
Eh, it's whatever. If I don't like it, I can just edit it out.
Okay, I'll just say it then.
Hmm.
There's this one server that they get scam bots quite
Hmm.
literally on a daily,
Hmm.
and there's this one time where one of the scam bots sent a Discord link, and it was to a child porn Discord
Oh
server.
no.
Yeah,
Oh god. So
yeah.
there's a lot of disturbing things about that. The fact that that even exists in the first place is bad. But
It's depressing on how many actually do exist. That's the sad
oh
part.
god, I'd rather not know about that. I'll just keep that out of
Yeah.
my mind. But yeah,
Yep.
I can see that too though, because I mean, the amount of like YouTubers and like Twitch streamers and stuff that have been outed for trying to groom minors, and then it's all through like Discord messages, is too many. So I can I can believe that there are entire servers set up for that, as much as I really don't want to know.
Yeah,
Um,
it's wild. People are wild.
there's something, yeah. Wild is the kindest word that you can use for that. But
Yup.
but no, yeah, as far as like keeping the bots out, that is another like that's a multi-purpose thing. Because I mean, bots can be programmed to react to stuff too, with just random reactions that they see other. That doesn't necessarily keep the bots out. So me having to manually approve them keeps at least then if they spam, they can only spam in one room, and I can get rid of that real easy. It even says in the community finder page that part of the reason why I do it this way is to keep us from getting spammed with NFT offers and monkey JPEGs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I read that. My first response to that was like, "What?"
Yeah, yeah, that's an appropriate response. But
Yep.
if you don't do it, so I tried to set it up as a community server at one point and just make it open, and I had so many random people join and not have any idea what the server was about. I had to shut that down. Um,
There there were weren't there people in here that joined like a few weeks after me and then asked to play Roblox with people in here,
it's Fortnite.
and that was it?
Yeah.
Fortnite, yeah, Fortnite.
Yeah, that's what happened. That was me experimenting with the community server thing, being like, okay, well maybe they'll just search for like FF14 or something and they'll find us. No, we got like 5 or 6 people that joined at once and they all just wanted to play like Fortnite. And I'm like, we don't play Fortnite, get out. Like
Yeah,
they were just a bunch of kids and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. So I took it off of community and then now we're
yeah, it's
just
better to have your servers private because of
yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah, now we're just invite only. So I'm just gonna keep it that way. It's
I
easier for me
had
to
my
manage.
there was this one time that I had my own server set to Community Finder for like a month,
Yeah.
and within the span of 30 seconds, I had like 80 bots join my server
Yeah,
at once.
yeah, that's another thing is that I could tell some of the accounts joining were bot accounts and was like, I'm not going to deal with that. and I don't have
Dude,
that kind of time.
I had to spend half an hour just banning all of those 80 bots, and it was so
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, and Discord's default like modding tools are not good.
It's
So
never been good.
no, no. Just like basic things that I used to have permissions to see and do and have access to for like old forums and stuff aren't they don't exist in Discord. Like if you or someone you have granted permission to deletes a message, like you can't see what was in that message that got deleted in the first place. So you just
You,
hmm?
I think you can now. You just have to go to the audit logs and it'll tell you.
No, the audit log still doesn't say anything. I looked at it just
Really?
the other day, yeah. There is a way you can do it now, but it's unofficial and it involves a plugin, which I may or may not have. Uh,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Vincord is great.
Dude, last time I used Discord plugins, my Discord kept crashing for no reason.
Yeah, that's the risk that you take whenever you use plugins with Discord or anything with Discord, really, is that it might just randomly crash. Um,
Or just be insanely laggy to the point to where it's unnatural to even use Discord because of how laggy it is.
or that, yeah, that is also a possibility. But yeah, Discord's default moderation tools leave a lot to be desired. It makes it really hard to. It would make it really hard to actually moderate an actual community server with like thousands and thousands of people. I don't know how anybody ever does it.
I will always find it funny that the communities of things like Discord, Minecraft, Terraria, and stuff, the communities can make better things for the game. Like the community people can make better things for the games, but they're mods.
Yeah, yeah. I think part of it is like the lack of quality control too. Like it, and sometimes the stuff they make is good, but maybe it's not good enough to have actually made it through like QA testing for the game itself. Other times, just being able to be that free with stuff and not have to get like approval lets them make some great things. So I don't know. It is
Yeah,
weird though. Um, Especially I guess in the case of stuff like Minecraft. Like I don't play Minecraft anymore, but from what I understand, like it takes forever to get like a single thing added to Minecraft nowadays, like
or
officially.
like a Minecraft mod officially added, or like
No, no,
the
just like a new
developer.
thing added to the base game, like a new animal or
Yeah,
something.
it takes them a year to add one thing to an update.
Yeah, I've seen the
And
complaints on
normally
Twitter.
normally it's like you get to pick through like three or four different things, but they'll only add one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I saw, is that you have to vote between the things that you want and then eventually they put it in there whenever
Like
they feel like it.
I like the idea of that, but like make it where it's more than one because an update where it just adds one thing is genuinely stupid.
I don't understand. Like, I haven't tried to play it since I got my upgraded graphics card, but like, I played Minecraft like fucking 12 years ago at this point, right? And I tried to play it with my old video card like maybe 4 years ago, and I don't know what the fuck happened to it, but Minecraft wouldn't run on my computer at more than 15 frames a second. Like,
What?
I don't have any idea how the hell that even happened. But yeah, my
Yeah,
my old card just wouldn't run it, and I'm just like, what? Like, I used to
what
run
was
this
your
on a
old
1 gig
card?
card. It was a what the hell was it? It was like an R9 290A or something like that. It was like a 4 gigabyte video card, and it wasn't new, but it was it could run stuff like this game. It could run Rocket League and just a bunch of different
And all
things.
those are much heavier than Minecraft.
Right. Yeah, everything's heavier than Minecraft. I was running that shit on a 1 gig card back in the day, and it didn't make any sense. I'm like, how the
Oh,
hell did they fuck up Minecraft?
so you know Destiny?
Yeah.
Minecraft is actually heavier than Destiny.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
How?
I don't fucking know.
So you've played Destiny a decent amount too, then?
Yeah, I play Destiny quite a lot.
Okay, because I've talked to a few other people in these interviews that are big Destiny fans, and I've said it before, but there's like no in between for people. It's either like you hate Destiny and you don't ever want to play it, or you've played it for like 1,000 hours or more.
So the sad part about that is the people who have 1,000 plus hours on the game still hate the game. I
Not
kid you not. I kid you not. I'm in a Destiny community
yeah.
Discord, and everybody there's like 30,000 people in that server. All
Jesus.
30,000 people hate the game, but have over 20,000 hours in the game.
There is at least one person that I've interviewed that did not hate the game that has thousands upon thousands of hours. There is Dakota Hollyoaks. He played. He has like what was it? Someone added up his hours at work, and it basically took up like 1/8 of his life or something at that point.
Yeah, that sounds about me. If you
Yeah,
combine both Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 and my Xbox hours on it with my Steam hours, I have about 15,000 if I recall.
yeah, yeah. I can believe that. That's like I said. When I see someone that plays Destiny, they never have just like 100 hours or like 50 hours in the game. They have 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. Like
Thousand, yeah, there most people who quit the game quit at the 1,000 hour mark and never touch it again, I've noticed.
I just don't get it. I tried to play Destiny 2 when it was like free, and I did it by myself, and it was on like PlayStation because they were giving it away for free at the time. And
Yeah, you want to know what's sad about that? It's
uh,
not free.
oh,
So the base game is free,
oh,
but to literally do any content, you need to buy the DLCs.
well, I'm not gonna do that because in like
You
two
also need to
hours I
pay
got
an
bored.
Yeah, and you also need to pay another 25 bucks to unlock dungeons that you technically get through buying the DLC, but you also don't get if that makes sense. Like you're supposed to unlock the little dungeons you get through buying the DLC, but then they tell you you need to pay another 25 bucks
Yeah.
to get a dungeon key to be able to unlock that dungeon key, and there's like 4 or 5 different dungeons you have to do that for.
No, I'm good. I think I'll pass. I have enough things taking my time already. I spend enough time in this game and then the other games that I have my backlog on Steam for. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't need a game that wants to do all that to me. I will
Yeah.
pass. But yeah, so going back to things over here because we're actually at like the hour mark now for the interview.
Yep.
Uh, so I'll have to wrap things up. Otherwise, my Sony Vegas will crash as soon as I try to start editing this thing.
Yeah, that's about right.
So just to sort of wrap up here, anything that people should know about you, or anything you'd like to share about yourself?
Uh, I think most of it will be in like my about me or like most of my content creation stuff. They could always just look there.
Hmm.
But if you ever, for anybody that's listening to this, if you ever need someone to help teach you any of the EXs, hit me or literally most of the people in this FC up. We're always down to help you, and I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. Speaking of what you mentioned earlier, where can the because you have a Twitch channel, where can they find you?
Uh, twitch.tv/icycoda. Same for my TikTok and YouTube. I don't use YouTube much, but it should be all three of them should be the same thing.
Okay. So twitch.tv/icycoda. Um, I'll put the link in the description of the video. Eventually, YouTube will let me make the links actually clickable. I have to have a a certain amount of uploads and watch time before I can actually share real links on YouTube on this Team No
Yeah,
Sleep account. So
yeah.
I tried to do it with the
YouTube's weird.
Asuka's when I first interviewed her, and it's just like, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah, it's hella weird. You kind of have to like type it out so it
yeah,
doesn't turn into a link,
yeah,
and then you just upload it there. Then
yeah.
you upload it then.
And that's what I had to do as the workaround. But it was either like build a history for the channel with uploads and stuff, or like send them my driver's license. And then I was like, I'm not going to send you to my driver's license for this channel. Thank you, but no.
Yeah, YouTube needs to fix their shit, to be honest.
They do. They do. Although I did recently see something, and this will be my last thing that I bring up randomly, but they're finally, after years and years and years, with their copyright system, they're going to start flagging the part of the video that actually falls under the copyright
Oh
strike
my God, thank
and
finally.
allowing you to edit it, like to edit it out. And it will
Uh,
specify what part of the content is in violation, whether it's the video itself or like the thumbnail or whatever it is.
Thank
So,
fucking God,
right.
because I had this one Terraria, this one modded Terraria video that's like an hour long on my YouTube, and it's restricted to 18 plus, and there's like no cursing, no sexual like remarks. There's nothing that would actually make it 18 plus, and it's just they defaulted it to that for some reason, and they're like they flagged it or whatever.
They know you.
They know me. I'm on their hit list.
They know you. They've seen the things that you do. Uh,
For real.
all right. Well, we'll wrap up this here. Thanks for doing the interview with me.
No
It
problem.
was good talking to you, and just remember to follow IC on Twitch, twitch.tv/ID Coda. So
Yep.
we'll catch you next time.
Y'all have a nice day now.